Crazy. These are bipedal tracks with a huge space in between them. This thing is like 12 feet tall. So it's a human-like print. Here's my giant boots. So it's smaller, but look at how tall they are. Look at how spaced out that is. That is a meter apart between steps. Really crazy. And they also might have been bigger. The snow covered up some of them, some of the space. Crazy. Greetings all, Chuke here. Welcome to the Alaska Bigfoot Studies. It's been about 6 months of doing these videos every Sunday morning for your Chuke Bigfoot cartoon goodness, doing paranormal and Bigfoot stuff. Big shout out to Jomo and the kids. I always appreciate my supporters on Patreon, and he's a big supporter of mine and always wants to hear about the interdimensional connection with Bigfoot, which we're going to talk about. So I always like checking in with Rob Roy and Beans Baxter, and when I was just messing around with Rob, I was like, let's do a Bigfoot State of the Union with Rob Roy Menzies. And not a lot of stuff in the news. Of course, the big thing was the Colorado train footage. That was near Durango on that old-fashioned choo-choo coal train. I used to live in Durango, really neat area. And it is a hot spot, but obviously the guy was in the Jack Link's beef jerky suit. Rob instantly recognizes it because he owns one. But I don't think just because that one was a hoax, there are a lot of interesting videos out there. If you ever watch the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch people, their stuff is amazing, and they're always getting reports, and there's more and more videos coming out. Mr. FNH sent me a video on Instagram that was really interesting. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this one, but as all Bigfoot videos, it's kind of obscure, but you do see like a really hairy creature that looks bipedal, ape-like, and it was captured on a game cam or something, and it's angry, and you kind of see it behind some stuff, and then it starts throwing trees around and just trashes the area. And some of the limbs it's picking up are really big, and it's just slamming them. To me, that was a really compelling video. I thought it was interesting. And there's other ones too. We live in the age of cameras, and it's only a matter of time before we get some really good footage. And it just takes me back to that the Patterson video, Patterson Kimlin. I'll throw up some artwork Rob Roy Menzies did on that video, an iconic video from California in the late 60s, I believe. But, it's been studied so much, and there are naysayers that says it's someone in the suit, but I really don't think so. There's a lot of experts that say you cannot reproduce the muscles underneath the fur, the way it's moving, the gait, its height, how long the arms are. Just an incredible piece of evidence. But it always takes me back. Well, let's check in with Rob Roy and Beans Baxter. Any interesting stories? I was thinking once a month we can do State of the Union with Rob Roy Menzies.
Yes.
State of the Bigfoot Union. What's the latest word on the street?
Okay, so I do have something to share. We did go out to Area A and closed it up, and I think Beans may have told you this. I can't remember, but Beans was out there. There were 5 of us. The one day was a Monday. It was a beautiful day out there. It was the day we were supposed to tear the dock down. And
just a few weeks ago, right?
Just a few weeks ago. Anyway, without using any names,
right.
2 of the gentlemen decided to go, let me back up. That day was beautiful. We were supposed to take apart the docks and everything. We were leaving the next day. Mm-hmm. The wind was blowing 40 knots. It was just blowing too hard. We couldn't do anything. There were whitecaps in the cove, which is really rare.
Yeah.
I mean, it was blowing like, oh my God. So we were mainly just stayed in the cabin. It was just miserable outside. But, a couple of guys decided to go up, and one of the gentlemen knows, he's really good with mushrooms. He knows what kind of mushrooms to look for and to harvest. Mm-hmm. So they went up there to do that. Well, I want to say the owner of the cabin. They were up in the woods there looking around, and he just happened to looking around in the woods as we do, and he looks in between these two trees, and he says he saw a stump that looked out of place. And when he told me, I said, "What do you mean it looked out of place?" He said, "Well, the color was off." He said, it just didn't look right." And if you know the woods around Area A, everything's mossy and green, and there are rotten stumps, and they have a certain look to them, and you just get used to it. He said, and I understand what he's saying. This thing stood out. And his buddy said something. He looked over, said something to him, and he looked back, and the stump was gone.
Oh, wow.
So that was a pretty interesting thing. And when I asked Scotty, I'm like, "Scotty, well, how big was it?" Because I thought he was talking a little stump. He said it was 7 feet tall.
Whoa.
So
something big moved it then.
I was kind of like a wow kind of moment for me, because I've heard that story before with stumps.
Yeah.
People see a stump, and in some cases it'll get up and walk away.
Right.
Anyway, that was probably the most exciting thing that happened.
Nice.
Up there. Although, and the guy that was with him said he did hear something moving through the woods, but again, it was blowing. The trees were moving around, which is kind of interesting too.
Right.
Which is why I think maybe they possibly did sneak up on one, because the wind blowing around.
Right.
This thing didn't hear them.
Yeah.
And so what does it do? I'm a stump. You don't see me.
Oh, right.
And he looked away and looked back. It was gone.
Interesting.
And and he was still processing it. But I just found that very fascinating.
Yeah.
Everything about it, the color, the size, and this is the owner. He's been out there a million times. He knows when something doesn't look right, and it's odd. I've heard that before. It's like, well, why didn't you take a picture? Why didn't you run up to it? But he just didn't know. He just kept. He said he looked at it for like a minute and a half.
And sometimes they blend in. Like, I was going to ask you what you thought about the Colorado footage of Durango. The people on the trail.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a guy in a suit, but it could have been real, but it just blended in.
Yeah, it did. It did. But then again, the manufacturer of the suit, they could have spray painted it too.
Yeah.
There's simple things you can do.
Right.
Me personally, I thought it was kind of intriguing, but I immediately saw it when they did the close-up sagginess right around the leg area.
Okay.
I mean, I know what a suit looks like.
Yeah.
It just looked like a suit.
Okay.
I think it was a guy doing it myself.
Yeah.
I've not seen anything to change my mind about that.
I do too. The way he sat down and
kind of sat down and just looked around.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hopeful. I mean, we all want it to be real.
Right.
But I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if it could have been the suits that I have here, and I sell these suits. I've sold a few of them.
Yeah.
Not for hoax purposes or anything, but they're the Jack's Links beef jerky. Anybody can buy them.
Right.
But I use them as little mascots for my store.
And that's what people said it looked like, the Jack Links.
And it's the first thing, because I have these here and I see them every day.
Yeah.
When I see something, it's like I instantly recognize it.
Right.
That's kind of what happened with that Colorado. I instantly recognized it.
Okay.
And they sell different sizes. They sell all the way up to 4X.
Okay.
So we're talking a big dude can buy one of these suits, but you can't get rid of the baggy saggies in certain areas. I don't know if you saw the latest AI. I guess it was AI. It was a photo supposedly going around from 1981.
Okay.
And it was a full picture of a Bigfoot from the back.
Yeah.
Very impressive. When I was like, oh, this is great. But
Yeah.
of course I'm like already preparing myself because I know it's probably not real.
Yeah.
But it had to be done for a show or something because it was like tapered down to the ankles and.
Wow.
Then I found out, I cannot remember where I watched a video and they tore it all down and it was created by AI.
Oh boy.
And it's pretty impressive though.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, I've seen some AI that looks terrible, but that looked pretty good. The whole look of it, the film look.
Yeah.
Because I used to take pictures in the 80s and, film.
Right.
I know it instantly looked like kind of a picture from the 80s on film. But anyway, I guess that's easy.
It's kind of neat, but like you, I went to art school and I tend to not care for AI just because of what it does to artists.
Well, well, I think you know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I think the second I saw this AI, I'm like, they just killed the graphic artist.
Yeah.
They just killed us.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's going to be in our lives. It's going to be horrible. It's just going to be an irritating thing. And Beans, as a matter of fact, it's just like, what are we supposed to believe now?
Right.
You can't even get hopeful now. You're going to see a really good picture.
Yeah.
It's like, just wait. Watch your watch. And yep, it's AI. Someone will come out.
Well, what I like to think is just, it makes me want to support local artists more. Like actual visual artists, and
I hope people start appreciating it a little more. I know it's a convenience thing, and that's what people want is convenience, and that will unfortunately overshadow the artists out there. But I think the human spirit, I think the human artists will still thrive. There'll still be a place for us.
I think so too.
Because I just don't think AI will quite capture what humans can.
Right.
So.
And all they do is mimic, anyways.
Yeah, they're just pulling things. They're using us actually to create what they're doing.
Right.
So it's kind of cheating.
It is.
It's like plagiarism in many levels, but it is cool.
Right.
Anyway, that's AI.
I agree. Cool.
So 2023 is just about over, and looking back in retrospect, initially I thought, not a whole lot went on. I don't really have a lot to talk about, but actually, the more I thought about it, the more that I came up with that I thought about that actually occurred this year. We had the second Boreal Bigfoot Expo in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's always a good time. Hopefully we'll get to have another one someday. I can't stress to people enough how when these events occur locally, if you're interested in the subject at all, you need to get out and support them somehow. Maybe even if it means if you buy a ticket and you don't show up, but it would still go a long way to supporting it. And it's fun to get together with people that are interested in the subject and take it seriously and talk about it and discuss it. And then also, in the month of June, I was gone to the Bigfoot Expo. Then I went up to Manly Hot Springs with Alex Pedikov. And then after that, we went out to Area A for like 2 weeks. So pretty much I was out in the field pretty much the entire month of June. And that's a big change for me. Usually I'll go out a few days here and a few days there, maybe with a couple of weeks in between, or just break it up. But this year I did pretty much did all my squatching in one shot, pretty much all the month of June. I got out a couple of times after that, but I can't really say that anything of note happened. If you're interested in seeing the exploits of myself and Alex Pedikov in Area A, you can check that out on the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel for the Dark Coast series. It's great visuals, and it's an interesting area. I think a lot of you would really enjoy it. Nationally, not a whole lot was going on. The biggest story, I guess, Bigfoot related of the year was the Colorado train footage, which, it's pretty obviously a hoax. I mean, it's obviously a guy in a costume. I think the individuals responsible have pretty much confessed without confessing. They had a pretty cryptic Instagram post or something with like a Bigfoot costume folded up in the corner of the picture. So, I mean, they didn't come out and say that they did it, but I mean, really, if you're going to show off your Bigfoot costume in the picture, I mean, what are they really trying to say there? That story got a lot of traction. I was really kind of surprised at how widespread it was. It actually made it into the mainstream media. It was in all the major news outlets, and it's kind of disappointing when a story like that with an obvious costume in the footage just keeps growing and circulating and getting more and more popular, and then more grounded and actual like interesting research doesn't really seem to ever make the news. But I mean, that's the way it is. People really flock toward that kind of stuff. I'm curious to see what 2024 is going to bring. I'm hoping in 2024 we're going to find out the results of the hand swab, the DNA swabs I took from the handprint at the Area Day cabin. Um, I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope to get out in the field a lot more. Hopefully, I'll get out with Chuke and Rob Roy and all the rest of the Boreal Bigfoot Research Group, and we're just gonna hopefully get together and have a good time. And even that's what it's all about, right? Even if you don't find Bigfoot, you have a good time camping, and that's what I hope to do. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in 2024.
I always go back to the fact, why haven't we found bones? Why haven't we, recovered a Bigfoot that a hunter has shot? And we do have stories of hunters that have said that they have killed Bigfoot, which I believe has happened, but we haven't had the evidence come forward yet. But it's just such an enigma. Why have we not found solid evidence? There's good evidence in the form of tracks, eyewitness reports, even from law enforcement, and then some video evidence, but we haven't found the really solid evidence yet. And I think it's a two-part answer. One, I think the Bigfoot are extremely smart. They are very intelligent. They cover their tracks. They bury their dead. They dispose of the bodies. It is interesting that we haven't really dug up any recent ones, because you'd think that we would have, found a Bigfoot that died 200 years ago in the ground. But what I keep going back to is this supernatural, mystical, interdimensional element of Bigfoot, and that we get in a percentage of the stories. And the reason why I believe them is just because that's what, almost every Native American tribe in North America, not everyone, but a vast majority, a lot of them have hairy man stories, and there is an element of some kind of supernatural powers, or, another world. A lot of them are very steeped in the culture, and there is something to that in some of these stories. And so that's why I personally believe why we haven't found any evidence. They're able to seemingly disappear, go into another world, or they're able to, I don't know, have some extraordinary powers while they're in this world. It's fascinating, though. I'm going to continue searching. I think eventually we are going to find evidence that's just irrefutable. I definitely believe that, and we're going in that direction. So let me know what you guys think. I'll keep doing the videos. Please keep tuning in and check out Rob Roy Menzies' channel. He has a band too, the Cryptids. I'm going to catch one of his shows and film him while he's not watching. But Bigfoot and an alien playing his band. It's insane. And check out Beans Baxter's channel. They're both on YouTube. So I'll throw links up to their channels, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.